Today we will discuss one of the bloodiest conflicts in modern Asian history, the Korean War. This war broke out in 1950, pitting North Korea against South Korea, but quickly escalated into an international war with the intervention of the United States, the Soviet Union, and China. How did this war begin? Why did nations kill each other? And what impact does it have to this day? Let's explore together. Before World War II, Korea had been a Japanese colony since 1910. However, after Japan's defeat in 1945, Korea was divided into two occupation zones. The North was controlled by the Soviet Union. The South was controlled by the United States. This division was initially temporary, with the boundary at the 38th parallel north. However, ideological differences soon separated them. In the north, a communist regime under Kim Il-sung was established, while in the south, an anti-communist government led by Syngman Rhee emerged. These ideological differences, coupled with the escalating Cold War, led to a permanent division in Korea. On June 25, 1950, North Korean forces crossed the 38th parallel and invaded South Korea. They advanced rapidly, capturing Seoul in just a few days. South Korea was on the verge of collapse until the UN Security Council authorized military intervention, led by the United States. International forces came to South Korea's aid, and the war officially became a global conflict. The world watched as the Cold War turned into a full-fledged war on the Korean Peninsula. With the help of UN forces, South Korea launched a major counterattack. Under the command of General Douglas MacArthur, troops landed at Incheon and successfully pushed back the North Koreans. UN forces even nearly captured all of Korea, approaching the Chinese border. However, the situation changed drastically when China intervened. Hundreds of thousands of Chinese People's Volunteers poured into Korea, forcing the UN forces to retreat. The war returned to a stalemate around the 38th degree line. The Korean War turned into a war of position. Trenches were dug, massive attacks were launched, but neither side gained a clear advantage. Famous battles like Pork Chop Hill and Heartbreak Ridge demonstrate the brutality of this war. Thousands of soldiers died simply to capture a hill or a small village. Meanwhile, civilians suffered terribly. Millions lost their homes, and Korea was devastated by the fighting. This war truly epitomized the cruelty of ideological conflict. After 3 years of war without a clear victory, both sides finally agreed to negotiations. On July 27, 1953, an armistice agreement was signed at Panmunjom. The result? The border remained fixed around the 38th parallel. This created the Korean Demilitarized Zone, DMZ, one of the most heavily fortified borders in the world to this day. However, it's important to note, there has never been a formal peace treaty. Technically, the two Koreas remain at war to this day. The Korean War killed an estimated 3 million people, making it one of the deadliest wars of the 20th century. More than a civil war, it was a clash of ideologies: communist versus capitalist, East versus West. To this day, the Korean Peninsula remains divided. In the north, the communist regime remains in power, while in the south, Korea has grown into one of Asia's largest democracies and economies. The Korean War reminds us that ideological conflict can divide a nation and leave wounds that are difficult to heal. What do you think? Will Korea ever be reunited? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more world history content.